Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone doing? It's Friday, November 10th. I took yesterday off. Oh, wait, and I'm hearing myself through my phone. I took yesterday off, obviously, for the shutdown for Palestine. I went around pasting some informational artivism at PSL, and that was really, it felt really great to do. Miko and the kids stayed at home, but I went out with Adam and we did that, and it felt really, really good. So obviously I was not live yesterday for that reason. So that's why I'm live today. How is everyone doing? How is everyone doing? I know that the thumbnail, there is some random older dude in the thumbnail that I'm sure everyone is like, who the bleep is that? Which we will definitely get into today. Even I was like, who is that? But surprisingly, he is a big deal in the music industry, and I have a lot to say about him, and I have a lot to say about the music industry in general, especially executives, which is really what started me on my whole journey with Eat Predators. Was, from the top to the bottom, we got, predatory behavior going on. And so I was pretty shocked that a survivor was this brave to go up against someone like this, because usually we hear about the artists, right? We hear about the artists, and it's far few in between when we hear about CEOs. And so I thought it was really important to talk about that today. And also, today we have a giveaway. Today we have a giveaway, which I'm super excited about. We have a bunch of protest signs that have been living under my bed, to be quite honest with you. And they're the actual protest signs from the protests. And I just thought, okay, maybe it's time to give them away, especially to members and new members. So the way that we're going to go about this is the first three are going to go to new members. So the first one will be for the dinner party. The second one will be a new member from Munchies. And then third will be Chef's Kiss. So I'm really excited to meet new members. I thought it was a nice way to connect, also give back. And so that's going to happen today, which I'm super excited about. And then the rest are going to be for all members. And basically how we're going to do it is whoever is interested in the giveaway, just put the ePredator's mouth emoji in the comment section. And then we're going to do like a little raffle. And then whoever we draw, they're going to get the rest of the protest signs. So I'm really, really excited about that. So thank you so much for being here. What is everyone saying? Hi, Marissa. Hey, Christian. Hey, Becca. Hey, Kid. Hey, Josh. Welcome, 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 welcome. So I don't know who's in here right now, but maybe there are some people who are thinking about becoming a member. And so I wanted to maybe just start it with the first protest sign that we are going to be giving away. So this protest sign, this will go towards whoever is a new time member to the dinner party. This protest sign came from Warner Music Group. I protested there twice, and it was in regards to a CEO, actually, which I think is pretty fitting. But a CEO had allegations. I went and protested. We made a cute little burn book with ePredators. So whoever is the first person to become the dinner party member, that will go to you. And then please email ePredators@gmail.com and send your address, and we will send this out to you. This is like honestly one of my favorites. It's like, I'm like thinking back like how far along I've come, honestly. Like this was over a year ago, which is crazy. But it's so cute. So whoever is going to be the first member for the dinner party, we will send this out to you. I'll remind people throughout the live that that's where we're at. Hey, Peyton. Oh, thanks so much, Peyton. How are you? I'm loving the hashtag. So to start this episode, per usual, I just want to remind everyone that, you know, obviously I am a survivor and I have dedicated my life to this purpose, this mission, and I spend a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of hours that I put into all of this. And so we don't have any sponsor, and I just want to remind everybody all of the ways in which you can contribute and help make this sustainable, the YouTube channel, the protesting, etc. And so we're going to go into that first before we digest all of these alleged predators. So where are we? Okay, so first and foremost, obviously the YouTube. So we have the dinner party, the munchies, the chef's kiss. For the dinner party, you get your loyalty badges, priority reply to comments, members only live streams, which currently we're doing Social Change Now, which is a guide for reflection and connection. I just thought it was nice to make Sundays more of a healing day. Actually, let me make this full screen to explain. I wanted to make Sundays more of a healing day because throughout the week, we're talking about all these alleged predators. And I wanted to make Sundays something for all of us allies and survivors to feel like we can actually create change together. And I found this amazing workbook, and basically it helps us figure out our unique voice and our unique ways that we can contribute to a social cause. And it might not be e-predators for you. It might be something else, but all of it is so important that I wanted to offer this up. So this is for every member of e-predators. It's every other Sunday. We're going through the workbook. It's for members only. And it's been so great. We did our first Sunday last Sunday. And it's really, really, really incredible. So I hope to see you there. So that's obviously for all members. And then moving forward, we have the munchies, which is obviously the perks from previous levels. And then you get access, though, to the ePredators Discord, where we can communicate with one another, share information with one another, and connect. And there's also an EP merch discounts. And then Chef's Kiss. Now, Chef's Kiss is specifically for the book club, which currently we're reading Britney Spears' The Woman in Me. Britney sent me this book herself, and I just recently finished it. It's so incredible, so important for survivors, so inspiring to allies and survivors everywhere. And so this Sunday actually is our second book club meeting, and so that's for Chef's Kiss specifically. And so I hope to see you there, and I'm actually going to introduce what we're doing after this book, because we only have one more Sunday after this Sunday when it comes to Britney Spears. And I know a lot of people were asking me if the lives are recorded for the book club. And yes, they're recorded. And if you are a member, you will be able to rewatch any of the content from Social Change and from Britney Spears' book. So if you're not able to make it for the live, it will be recorded and posted on the YouTube channel. So it's a great way to help the channel. Also, we have the merch, which for me personally is such a great way to help spread awareness and to, you know, maybe engage in conversations with strangers that don't know, you know, what the heck ePredators is. And so I think it's a great way of spreading awareness. I keep telling everyone my favorite merch item right now is Power to Survivors, which is honestly the anthem for ePredators. It's time for survivors to feel empowered. It's time for them to get their power back. And so, you know, that's why I really chose Power to Survivors as the anthem for ePredators. And now we have the tote bag. And so if you're interested, this is another way to help and make this channel sustainable. And I really, really appreciate it. Moving on, if you're like, no merch, maybe also no membership. Patreon is a great way to contribute to the artivism and the activism aspect of ePredators, which once a month we protest an institution or an alleged predator, but most of the time an institution that has allegations of covering up SA. And so this goes towards the signs, as you can see behind me, and a lot more, and some of them that I'll be giving away today. And it takes a lot of work, a lot of hours. And so that contributes to that, but also it helps keep the channel alive as well. And so you'll see there's one tier of it that helps for the cost of producing for the weekly YouTube episodes. And so, yeah, that's a great way to contribute to ePredators. And I just want to say to everybody who is joining, even if you are just liking, and please remember to like this episode, subscribe, and then also to maybe share it. That is a great way of creating sustainability for this channel. So just being here, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I see you. I appreciate you deeply. And, you know, for me, I didn't really see anything like this on YouTube. And so I created it myself. And I just thought it was time for survivors to be able to lead these public narratives in a survivor-centric way. I just wasn't seeing it anywhere, to be quite honest with you. And so that's why I created this channel. And so every single one of you, no matter how you're contributing, it really, really matters. And I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. So, and also, so after Britney Spears, I thought it would be really cool to get into Jeanette McCurdy's new podcast. I don't know if anyone's heard it. I'm going to look into the chat right now and see if anyone's heard about Jeanette McCurdy's new podcast. It's called Hard Feelings, and I think it's so rad. It's so rad. I knew Jeanette McCurdy growing up. She obviously did an episode of Zoe 101, and, you know, one of the reasons that got me activated to go and protest Nickelodeon was her book. And when I read what she had to say about the creator, which we all know who the creator is, Dan Schneider, I spoke out about him in 2019. And when I saw her doing the same, I kind of just was like, enough is enough, enough is enough, enough is enough. And so she has a new podcast called Hard Feelings with Jeanette McCurdy, where she collected, this is so cool. I love it so much. She collected all of her audio voice memos that she would just record by herself when she was going through either a hard time, a difficult time, or had some feelings to reflect on. She recorded them in her phone and she made a podcast out of it where it's just her voice memos. And I just started listening to it and I think it's incredible. And I think there's a lot of discussion for everyone that we can have about what she's personally talking about. It's extremely human. And I view Jeanette McCurdy as a survivor of this industry. And so it's great to support her on her journey and what she's doing. And so after we finish the Britney Spears book club, I thought it would be really nice to begin Jeanette McCurdy's podcast. And so what we're going to do is go through an episode every other Sunday, listen to it, listen to her words, and then we're going to reflect and converse about our thoughts and how we can relate, etc. And so I thought it's a nice way to support Jeanette McCurdy and also a great way to get allies and survivors to get more involved on the topics of trauma, on triggers, you know, PTSD, etc. And so we will be doing that. I haven't spoken to Jeanette McCurdy in a very long time, honestly, but you know, I've fell out of contact with her because I think the last time I did see her in person was that Zoe 101 episode. And still, you know, she's not a personal friend. I haven't spoken to her in a while, but I support her 100%. And I think her voice really matters. All of the child stars, honestly, their voice really matters, especially when they're reflecting on their past and the industry and their personal lives. And I think what she's doing is extremely inspirational. And so I want to support it. I think we all should support it. And so chef's kiss Once we're done with Britney Spears, we're moving on to Jeanette McCurdy's podcast, and I'm really, really excited to do that. We'll also be conversing in the Discord about it, and so I'm really, really happy to announce that, and I can't wait to begin. Hi, Shay! Exposed predator. You know, Jeanette did, in my opinion, expose a lot about Dan Schneider. And we all know what Dan Schneider's like. So yes, I would say that Jeanette does contribute to that. And Jeanette, in my opinion, is a survivor that is also, thriving. You know, she wrote such an incredible book. She's very brave. She's very honest. She's very human. And, I really support her personal mission. And so I think it's going to be really nice. And I think it might be cathartic for me too, as well, as a child star, to kind of listen to another child star reflect on their own triggers, their own trauma, their own voice. And so I'm really, really looking forward to that. So chef's kiss. I'll see you this Sunday for Britney Spears' book. One more Sunday after that, and then we're moving on to Jeanette McCurdy's podcast. So I hope to see you all there. I really try to make this channel, especially the membership-only things, an opportunity to support survivors. And that's really the main purpose of this channel, is survivor-centric narratives and also supporting survivors everywhere and calling on allies, because we honestly cannot do this alone. We need allies. We really, really, really need allies. And so, that's the point of ePredators. And so thank you all for being here. Okay, so who knows who L.A. Reid is? Oh, wait, no, I need to rewind. You guys, Timberland apologized, and it was honestly one of the weirdest apologies I've ever watched in my entire life. It was weird. It was awkward. And he also chose not to apologize to Britney Spears first, which I thought was kind of strange. And so I want us to watch the video of Timberland. Who remembers good old Timberland? Who remembers good old Timberland? Power to survivors, Marissa. And love to all the allies. Love to all the allies. So yeah, let's get into Timberland, because last week, obviously, I spoke out about what Timberland said about Britney Spears. It was honestly one of the most disturbing things I've heard in a minute. And, someone sent me that he apologized, but the apology was very strange, and it felt like he only apologized because he was getting pressured to apologize. So let's watch it, and then let's discuss what we think about this apology. Where are you? Okay. Skip the ad. Where are you? Okay. Here we go. And it's TMZ. It's the only place I could find it. Obviously, I'm anti-TMZ, but, it is what it is. Will this play? Okay. Wait, are you going to make me refresh this? Do not make me refresh this. TMZ, I already despise you deeply, and now you're making things more complicated than they need to be. Can you please operate? Hold on, you guys. God, I honestly can't stand TMZ. And then here, once again, they're giving me another reason to personally not dig them. Okay, play. Loading ad. What is wrong with you? All right, go. Add. I'm moving on. Okay, so here we go. Jesus Christ, TMZ, I can't stand you. Here we go. What is with this? What, when I get out of here, it won't let me watch it? This is so annoying, you guys. Can you believe this? TMZ, just do what you're supposed to do, which is honestly nothing, to be quite honest with you, except harm other people. But let's go. Go. All right. Loading ad. Okay, I'm just going to leave it here then so that I don't screw it up if I get out of here. We'll watch this ad. I can't believe this. TMZ, shame on you. Go. Are you going to play? What?
Come on, man.
Okay, wait, why would it just... Okay, there we go. Go.
Come on, man. I'm keeping it 1,000 with y'all. But I'm sorry to all the Britney fans, even to her, if she never saw.
Oh my God. And of course, you guys can't see me. What is with TMZ's website? All this
If she never saw I'm sorry, because muzzle was, no, you have a voice. You speak what you want to speak. Who am I to tell you what not to speak? And I was wrong, for saying that. But I hope you see it I was looking at it from a different lens. And what I am is a reconciled person. I'm not a person.
What lens? I'm sorry. What lens were you looking at through? The patriarchy? What lens was he? I'm sorry. What lens is he looking?
A reconciled person. I'm not a person who takes sides. I try to combine and say, let's make a compromise. I see your point. Do you see this point? Can we all get to agreement to say this is that and that's this? That is how I am. So I apologize to the Britney fans and her. And yes, you know about respecting women. Hell yeah.
Okay, hold on. First of all, I'm already annoyed that it took me that long to play that video to hear that ridiculous apology. So right there, I'm already frustrated. I'm frustrated at TMZ. I'm frustrated at Timberland. What I find very interesting about Timberland's apology is that it took a whole lot of pressure to get him to apologize. And then when he did apologize, he chose to apologize to the Britney Spears fans first. And then to Britney Spears herself. Christopher! Chef's kiss! Welcome. I'm going to show you actually the giveaway. You are going to get the third sign in this because you are the first person in the chat to become a new Chef's Kiss member. So welcome, Christopher. So, I don't really like that. I think it's important to apologize to the fans, but I think it's more important to apologize to Britney Spears first, because what he said was honestly despicable, disturbing, just horrendous. As a woman, I thought it was appalling. I can't believe it's 2023 and this bro thinks it's okay to say something like that and get a whole crowd to laugh along. And so I'm just still disappointed in Timberland in general, even after hearing that. And then he goes into the second phase of his apology, which is, it kind of retracts for me the apology in general, which is where he goes to say he's kind of neutral. He's like this mediator, right? Chris Massey did the same thing. Chris Massey tried to pretend, from Zoe 101, by the way, he tried to pretend he was some great mediator, that he wanted to be a mediator, before the Zoe 102 film came out, yada, yada, yada. But he was the first person that I saw who was trying to pretend he was a great mediator. And with Timberland, you're not a good mediator. You're not somebody who's trying to say, understand his side, understand her side. You legit called a woman crazy, a woman who who has been called crazy for really no reason whatsoever for decades, like over a decade. No, like, wow, God, how old am I now? 13 plus years. All right. And we saw what ended up happening when not only individuals were saying she's crazy, but then we had these institutions, media, etc., boosting up that ridiculous, I wanted to say accusation, but I don't even want to say that. It's just statement, right? And we saw what ended up happening to Britney Spears. And so in 2023, to see Timberland using the word crazy towards a woman, but then also using it towards Britney Spears, it was beyond out of touch, right? It was just, it was beyond just like, where are you? Do you know what year you're in? Where have you been? Have you been following along? Did you read the book? I had a lot of questions for Timberland, honestly. But then it got one step worse where he said that JT, which I didn't know he was still called that, should put a muzzle on her. Then that took it beyond for me. It's like, wait a minute. Again, what year are we in? Did you read the book? Do you know what happened to Britney Spears? Do you know the history of women being called crazy and the implications of that and what ends up happening to women that get called crazy? So didn't really like that. I didn't feel like that was a neutral person. I don't feel that that is a neutral person. I feel that that is somebody who is a misogynist, to be quite honest with you. And, you know, honestly, a little bit heartless to say something like that after I'm sure he's seen some headlines about Britney Spears. Some, even if he didn't read the book, he should know a little bit about Britney Spears. And so, yeah, then though, he took it another step further and said something about viral and that her truth, her testimony, her voice getting, you know, given back to her was just to be viral. That's how they make money these days. And so the whole thing was very disturbing. So to hear him say that he's this neutral person who's just trying to get people to understand one another, I would say the worst thing that you can do as a mediator, as a neutral party, is to throw around harsh words. Words that are triggering, words that are derogatory. A mediator, a neutral person, is supposed to like stay clear of that language. And Timberland used language that was extremely triggering. It was bias. It was just misogyny, to be quite honest with you. And it was just so insensitive to our times, to what had happened to Britney Spears, etc. So I just found that to be, you know, I just see this a lot with accountability where no one other than Britney Spears, to be quite honest with you, I haven't received an apology that felt just honest and pure and not trying to excuse themselves of the accountability. But it's okay to explain yourself and go, this is how I was seeing things at the time. And for me, Britney Spears, when she was telling me what was happening during that time, she was letting me know why she was seeing things the way that she was. She wasn't trying to like escape accountability. She was trying to let me in her world and to let me know this is what was happening and this is why this ended up happening. And this is, you know, a big part of why I did what I did. But it didn't feel like she was escaping accountability. With Timberland's apology, it feels like he's still trying to make himself some type of good dude, some type of good bro, someone who's neutral, someone to trust. And I don't think a good neutral party is somebody who throws around the word crazy, who triggers a survivor, who leans more, who's biased, to be honest, just simply bias. I felt like Timberland's comment was simply bias. And that's just not somebody who's trying to hear both sides. And if you are trying to hear both sides, I would appreciate it if you read the book before speaking on it, because you would have to then hear the other side, right? Since it seemed like you heard Justin Timberlake's side, don't you think it's important then to listen to Britney Spears' life story? And I could just tell that Timberland definitely did not read the book. I would be shocked if he did. And so I didn't really like that. And then he ends that whole thing after being pressured, after apologizing to the fans first, which I think is important that the fans get an apology. But I think Britney Spears deserved the apology first. That's who he was talking about. It was who he was talking about. And then he wraps it up with saying like respecting women and goes, hell yeah. And I am so over any performative allyship at this point as a survivor. I want to see real allies. I want to see people who are doing the work. I want to see people that are coming with compassion, empathy, sympathy. I just want to see allies showing up in real time. And when I heard what Timberland had to say about Britney Spears, that was just not somebody who was respecting women. That was straight up misogyny. That was offensive. That also, contributed to the whole stigma around mental health. And I really didn't appreciate it. And I didn't feel that apology, it's a step forward, but he needs to recognize what was actually happening there. And I personally don't feel like he did. I really don't personally feel like he understood it. And so Timberland apologized, but let's not forget about the fact that he said he was in love with a baby. He said he was in love with Aaliyah when she was a baby. He called her a baby. She was 16 years old, which, by the way, I was honestly a little bit happy about when he used that term for a 16-year-old, because as a survivor of somebody who was brooming me at the age of 16, I got told so many times, oh, but you were 16, you're not a child, like you were a teenager and yada, yada, yada. But now I got the confirmation from Timberland that I was a baby. Yeah, that's right. Not even just a child, but a baby. And Timberland said he was in love with a baby by the name of Aaliyah when she was 16 years old. And he had to fight back his inclinations to what. And, I think Timberland is problematic in general now, the more I look into him. And that's that when it comes to Timberland. I just haven't heard anybody ever say they're in love with a baby. Being in love with a baby as a grown-ass man is woo. So when he says respect women, hell yeah. I wish he actually knew what that meant. And it also means respecting babies, right? Baby girls, children, etc. And I just haven't really seen any type of accountability from Timberland when it comes to that. So anyways, Timberland apologized. It is what it is. I have my own comments about it, but whatever. But it was nice to hear that someone else agreed that when you're 16 years old, you're a baby, right? So for all the survivors out there that have been broomed as a child when they were a teenager, Timberland confirmed that we were just babies. And how gross is that, right? So at least we got that out of Timberland. That was the only thing I kind of, looking back, appreciated, that he saw teenagers for what they honestly are. And, that's that. So moving on, we're going to get into L.A. Reid. Now, I didn't really know much about L.A. Reid, but today this is all about execs within the music industry. My personal experience with execs within the music industry has not been good. because my predator, Michael Milos of Rye, when he was meeting with all of these different execs within the music industry, one of them being Red Light, there is another label called Loma Vista, and he was telling all of them how he came into contact with me. And how he came into contact with me was when I was just a baby, as Timberland likes to say. I was 16 years old, a baby, when he started grooming me. Origins was MySpace. Anyone remember MySpace? And I had to sit in some of these meetings and hear him talk about the origin stories, and these execs at huge music labels, like record labels, thought it was romantic, thought that the story, how the crimes were romantic, which gaslit me a lot. And it took me a lot to realize that what he was telling them was not okay, was not normal, was criminal, actually. So today is about the execs, Reid being one of them. Let's read the story. Drew Dixon is an incredible survivor, and she is the one who is suing Reid. You might have heard about Drew Dixon. She made a documentary, or was part of a documentary when it came to Russell Simmons allegations. And so, yeah, we'll get into that. But let's get into Reid first. Reid sued for SA and harassment. Drew Dixon, a former Arista Records executive, claims the music mogul aided her 2 times in 2001, once on a private plane and another in a back of Reid's private car. This is Reid, everyone. Former Arista Records executive Drew Dixon has filed a lawsuit against Reid, alleging the music mogul continuously harassed and SA'd her twice in 2001 while she was working for him, according to court records obtained by Rolling Stone. Who wrote this, by the way? Oh, Cheyenne. She's cool, actually. It's not Ethan, at least. Dixon sued in the Southern District of New York on Wednesday under the Adult Survivors Act, which opened up a 1-year window for victims of SO to file a civil suit against their abuser outside the statute of limitations expiration date. The window closes on November 24th. So we saw this also in a couple other survivors, where when these survivors do it last minute, you have to understand it's because it takes a lot of strength to do it in the first place. It takes a lot of strength to do it in the first place, to speak your truth to power. And as you can see here, the window is about to close, and Drew Dixon is suing Reid. So close to it closing. And so it took her just that long to get to that point, right? And so, good thing to remember for survivors, instead of asking them, why didn't you report earlier, or why didn't you sue earlier, etc., why don't you tell them, I'm proud of you for doing it in the first place? No matter how long it took you, the fact that you did it is admirable, honorable, and we appreciate your voice. And thank you for feeling like you could. So I just want to say that. So moving on, Dixon has been a vocal supporter of the 2022 act after coming forward to the New York Times in 2017 to accuse Russell Simmons. So does anyone remember Russell Simmons? Wait, let me go over here really quickly. Let me close out of here. So Russell Simmons had 20 accusers. 20 accusers, and Drew Dixon is one of those accusers. Russell Simmons had 20 accusers. So this is a multiple time survivor. And when I talk about Marty Singer's comment to me, I just want to remind survivors out there that it's never your fault. It's not. And I know it's really hard to heal when it's happened to you multiple times. And the thing that people don't understand for allies out there is that most survivors have had it happen to them before. There are a lot of survivors out there that have been preyed upon and ABUSED'd many times. And a lot of the time they kind of have to pick the person that is either within the statute or maybe somebody who they're personally having even a harder time when it comes to PTSD. I just know for me personally, I have multiple predators, and you have to process each one at a time, to be honest. And there's so much stigma around being a survivor of multiple predators. There is so much stigma around it. And there's so much victim blaming around it. And so I want to just say to Drew Dixon that you are so inspiring and admirable for survivors everywhere, because you have stepped forward in breaking the mold of a predator, of a one-time predator, right? And I just want to thank you, Drew Dixon, for that, because she called out Russell Simmons, and here she is calling out L.A. Reid. You are badass, Drew Dixon. Badass. Super inspiring. So, okay, let's continue. Another mega producer who co-founded Def Jam Recordings of the R Word. Simmons denied her claim. Wow, is that shocking? When do they not deny their claims, right? In that same interview, there was a brief mention that Dixon also faced continued harassment from Antonio Marquise, L.A. Reid during her music career. At the time, Reid said in a statement he apologized if his words were misinterpreted. Misinterpreted? Hell yeah. Okay, in the suit, Dixon claims her encounters with Reid went beyond just harassment, but also 2 instances of SA, once on a private plane in the back of Reid's private car. L.A. Reid is a known predator who uses his singular professional power to force himself on his victims, Dixon said in a statement provided to Rolling Stone. In my case, his persistent campaign to SH and ASSAULT forced me to abandon the work I loved when I was at the top of my game in the music industry, having worked my way up from internships and a job as a receptionist. Now, one of the things that really inspired me to create ePredators was the fact that I started hearing from many, many survivors that they would go to HR in a corporate environment, right? They would go to HR and say, my boss, the CEO, is blank, 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 bleep, 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 bleep. HR would get involved. Then they would present a mediation meeting, and then they would present an NDA. And in this NDA was a complete agreement to not speak about what happened, but not only not speak about it. There are some NDAs where the survivor is not even able to speak to their therapist about what happened, which blocks their healing journey, which to me is just beyond despicable. It's one thing to be covering up criminal activity in the work environment with an NDA. It's another to not allow the survivor to heal, to seek therapy about it. And what I ended up finding out was that these survivors would get fired after they signed the NDA. They would get fired. And a lot of them signed the NDA, right, to keep their job. because they felt if they didn't sign the NDA, that they would be seen as problematic, that there would be issues in the work environment. And so to feel safety, they signed the NDA. They would get fired, and guess what would happen? Guess what would happen? The CEO gets promoted. So the CEO that committed a crime gets promoted, and the survivor who risked everything with signing the NDA, they're the ones who get fired. So we're hearing this with Drew Dixon, right? Where she's communicating to us that she lost her job. She lost what she loved most. While L.A. Reid, for example, seems to be moving forward, making money, having his name protected. And Drew's, which is what happens all the time to survivors, and which is why this work is extremely important, is because survivors are really the ones who lose their jobs, lose their income, have severe lifelong PTSD, lifelong trauma, medical bills for their therapy, and if they don't even have money for therapy, they're having to suffer alone without any type of help, and the list goes on. While the privileged predator just keeps getting supported, he keeps getting, or she keeps getting, or they keep getting supported, funded, financially rewarded for their criminal behavior. And so let's listen to Drew Dixon's words, because she is sadly not the only one. So in 2017, Reid departed from Epic Records. Everyone knows Epic Records. If you don't know about Epic Records, definitely Google it. Where it's huge. Where he was the chairman and CEO. After an assistant accused the executive of SH, the complaint was made to Epic's parent company, Sony Music. Now, ePredators has protested Sony Music. I'll talk about this later. A lot of problems at Sony Music. A lot. I mean, Kesha, Dr. Luke, Sony, right? So a lot of issues when it comes to Sony Music. And Variety reported there were multiple accusations leveled against Reid. Multiple. The music executive, who is starting a new record label with Usher, is credited for helping establish the careers of Usher, Mariah Carey, TLC, and Avril Lavigne, among many others. Reid did not immediately reply to a request for comment. Shocking. Dixon's career was on the rise when she arrived at Arista Records in 1996. According to the suit, joining the label as senior director of H&R after leaving Def Jam in 1995 following Simmons' alleged SA. God, this is so sad. She worked her way up to vice president of A&R. By the time Reid was brought to Arista Records as CEO and president in 2000, almost immediately Mr. Reid began SEXUALIZING and harassing Miss Dixon, the lawsuit claims. Even before his start date, Reid allegedly invited Dixon to tour apartments with him as he was relocating from Atlanta to New York City for the new position. Although Dixon was under the impression that Reid's wife would be present at the viewings, she arrived to find it was just going to be herself. Reid and the real estate agent during the entire afternoon of showings, Mr. Reid made flirtatious comments, the suit claims. It was so pervasive that it caused the realtor to comment to Miss Dixon privately that he was left with the impression that Mr. Reid was in love with her. When was the last time I heard in love? Oh, yeah, in love with a baby. In love with a baby. That's the last time I heard about an alleged predator being in love. Right? In love. How lucky are us survivors? In love. In January 2001, Dixon's suit alleges that she was invited on a private plane to travel with Reid and other senior executives to a company retreat in Puerto Rico. Again, Dixon arrived to find that she was alone with Reid, who allegedly began flirting with her right away. While waiting for the others, the suit claims, Reid requested for Dixon to sit next to him and go over work materials, but he allegedly began playing with her hair, kissing her, and digitally, penetrating, her blank without her consent. Wow. For the remainder of the trip, Dixon alleges she had her assistant by her side to avoid Reid's SAs. Back in New York following the trip, Dixon alleges that she tried to navigate the treacherous balance between maintaining a working relationship without succumbing to Mr. Reid's SAs. Advances such as avoiding his late night phone calls, turning down his requests of meetings in hotel rooms, and wearing frumpy clothing that Reid didn't like. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. However, the suit claims Reid grew unhappy with Dixon and retaliated against her. Oh, yeah. So this is another thing to just keep for allies out there, anyone who's just tuning in. Not only does a survivor have to deal with the trauma from SA, SH, etc., they have to constantly be in fear of the retaliation. The retaliation when they say no. Or even if their body language is saying no. Right? Then there's this fear of how the predator is going to retaliate. And they do. It's not just that we feel it might happen. It's not that we just feel it might happen. It does always happen. Always. A predator always retaliates because they cannot stand not getting what they want when they want it without consent. And they are willing to leap over your no, your body language, etc., to get what it is they want. And it's terrifying. And that is why a lot of survivors, for example, are even afraid to come forward after it happens, is because they're afraid of even the post retaliation after they have SA'd them, etc. And this is very, very, very real and very important for everyone to remember, is the retaliation of a predator. So however, the suit claims Reid grew unhappy with Dixon and retaliated against her by allegedly being unprofessional and embarrassing her in front of her colleagues. In some cases, Dixon claims that Reid would shoot down or blow off potential artists that she brought to Arista Records, including a young Kanye West and John Legend. Wait. L.A. Reid. Wait. Drew Dixon brought in Kanye West and John Legend. Kanye West and John Legend. Turned them down because he was allegedly retaliating when it came to Drew Dixon. When it came to Drew Dixon not wanting anything to do with L. Reid in that way, right? Romantically, etc. He turned down Kanye West and John Legend just to get back at Drew Dixon. And that's what's so interesting, is these alleged predators get self-destructive just to prove a point. And I honestly feel like that's why they end up getting caught, or something ends up happening eventually with them, is because they get so self-destructive when they're not getting their way. And eventually it backfires. Eventually it does backfire. At another point in 2001, Dixon claims that following a work event, Reid offered her a ride home in his private car so they could finish some work and listen to a demo from Alice Smith. Dixon claims she accepted the offer because Reid's driver would be present. So you always think you're safe. You're looking for people around you. And no matter what, honestly, I feel like victims are just never safe, especially not around people that are hiring them, like hiring the people that are around. Shortly into the ride, the suit alleges Mr. Reid, again without Miss Dixon's permission or consent, began to GROPE and kiss Miss Dixon, who squirmed and pushed him away as Mr. Reid's driver started straight ahead. When Mr. Reid complained and became visibly irritated with her lack of compliance, Miss Dixon froze. I'm sorry, Miss Dixon. Mr. Reid again, digitally blank, Miss Dixon's blank without her consent. This is horrible. This is honestly horrible. Following the alleged Dixon claims her career suffered at Arista due to Reid, who allegedly would directly respond to the rejection by suddenly slashing or freezing promotional and recording budgets for Dixon's artists and vetoing their song demos and auditions. Wow. See this retaliation? So what is a survivor to do, right? What is a survivor to do? Eventually, feeling there was no pathway forward, not only at Arista, but in the music industry in general, Dixon resigned and enrolled at Harvard Business School in 2002. She alleges her career never recovered, and even as recently as 2017, Reid was allegedly interfering with her career. Wow. As part of the civil suit, Dixon is seeking general and punitive damages and legal fees. Dixon's attorney, Kenya Davis, added in a statement given to Rolling Stone, Drew was at the pinnacle of her career, collaborating with music legends and identifying future stars when she began working closely with L.A. Reid, who up until the time was a trusted industry peer. As soon as he became CEO of Arista Records, he leveraged his position of authority to SH and SA her. The Adult Survivors Act is a critical tool in holding perpetrators accountable, and we look forward to fighting for Drew and other victims of SM whose careers have suffered as a result of them speaking out. Honestly, very brave of her. Really, really, really brave of her. And it is interesting when it comes to the Me Too movement, a lot of us realize that there were so many artists, right, who were being harassed, essayed, etc. by CEO, by execs. And sadly, we didn't hear a lot about the ones actually working in the corporate environment with these predators. So employees, like literally in the office, right? With the CEO, because so much of it got handled through HR, heavyweight lawyers, NDAs, and then firing and destroying the survivor's career. And honestly, a lot of the time, life. And now with these statutes opening up, I do want to remind everyone that the average time for a survivor to come forward is 30 to 50 years. 30 to 50 years. And there are so many things at play here as to why it takes so long, right? For one, being a work environment where you feel you are going to lose your job if you speak up. Generational also, for example. I think it wasn't until the 70s that it was illegal for SH in the work environment. And so a lot of it is generational. Then you got fear of retaliation, fear of being seen as problematic. You don't want to lose your job. And then you got the whole, if I go to the police, most likely that's just going to, basically I'm going to go to the police, I'm going to be re-traumatized, I'm going to sit into a room for multiple hours, etc. I have to relive my trauma, and then the DA just gets paid off by the powerful predator, for example, and your case never goes anywhere. And that's what survivors hear from one another. That's what we hear from one another, is our stories, the crimes that have happened to us really don't go anywhere. We don't really get justice most of the time. And so it takes 30 to 50 years on average. And when the statutes aren't open, then unfortunately, most survivors never get to seek justice. They never get it. And they'll have to turn to various ways to find justice in the ways that they, can. They can, like therapy, whatever it is. But civil, criminal statutes get in the way of a lot of survivors' justice. And since it takes so long for survivors to also face their trauma, seek help, etc., and imagine if you don't have, insurance, right? If you don't have insurance, you're living in America, it's going to be a lot harder for you to heal, to even also sometimes realize exactly what had happened to you. So the fact that Drew Dixon is finally seeking her justice right before the window closes for the adult window, that, by the way, it goes back to, 3 to 5 years only. A survivor only has 3 to 5 years in most states to process their trauma, get out there, go find a lawyer, go afford a lawyer, find a lawyer, whatever, and get justice or seek justice. And so I just want to say, Drew Dixon, what an inspiration you are, because I am a survivor of multiple predators. And, that was something extremely hard for me personally to process and realize and speak out about. I was afraid of obviously being called all the things that survivors get called, which is a liar, seeking attention. What were you wearing? Were you drunk? Et cetera, et cetera. And so I just want to say thank you so much, Drew Dixon, for setting an example for a lot of survivors that, we can break this stigma. We really can. And we have to do it together. And, it's truly the only way. But I just want to say thank you so much, Drew Dixon, for sharing your story with the world, not once, but now twice. And I do want to pull that up really quickly. Here it is. It's called On the Record. On the Record, Doc gives Russell Simmons accusers the spotlight. It's an HBO Max documentary on the essay allegations leveled at the hip-hop mogul, significantly changes the conversation on harassment in the music industry. And so if you are, a survivor or a ally out there that wants to learn more, I think this documentary is incredible for that. And I highly, 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 highly recommend it. Oh, well, P. Flynn, welcome to the Munchies. So I don't know if everyone knows, we are in the middle of a giveaway as well today. I'm giving away protest signs that we've actually used in front of these institutions. They've been underneath the bed, and I just thought it was a great way to give back to the community. And so, second, for a new Munchies member, P. Flynn, you are getting the TMZ protest sign called Stalkers, which is honestly one of my favorites. It's Harvey Levin, who is the owner of TMZ, and I like to call TMZ institutionalized stalking. And if you haven't checked out the protest that I did in front of TMZ, it's on the YouTube channel. But I do want to welcome P. Flynn. And please email epredators@gmail.com. And I will send this out to you directly. And so, wait, my name is Peyton. Oh, it's Peyton. Is this the same Peyton? Peyton, thank you so much for joining. I'll be sending this out to you. So please email us at epredators@gmail.com. We have one more for the dinner party. So if someone is thinking about becoming a new member today, for the dinner party, we have one more protest sign that we're giving away. So we'll see if there's going to be any new member. And then we'll get into the raffle for all of the rest of the members, which I'm super excited about. Yeah, Peyton, please email. Different Peyton. I was like, wait, is that the same Peyton? Well, welcome, Peyton. Another Peyton. Happy to have you here. So yeah, please watch the documentary. Let's support Drew Dixon on her journey towards justice. And yeah, she's just honestly a hero. Wow, I didn't realize. Christian? Yeah. Where is it? He did the chef's kiss. Oh, Christian. Wait, did I not show it? No. I thought I showed it. No. Oh. Chef's kiss. Wait, who is it? Christian? Christian, if you're still watching, this protest sign actually came from the TriStar protests when we were obviously going up against Team Con. And so we called it the Team Con takedown, and it's about AB 1663, which makes sure Californians with disabilities and older Californians, like basically it's protection so that there can be less ABUSE my God, I'm blanking right now. Conservatorships. And so, yes, so this was one of the protest signs from TriStar, and I will be sending it to you. Please email epredators@gmail.com, and we'll send it out to you. It's one of my favorites. Do you guys remember this cartoon? Does anyone remember? Does anyone remember? But it's so sick. So we'll be sending that out. So moving forward through these. Oh, wait, by the way, let's just watch Russell Simmons like lose his shit for a minute. So apparently one of his exes, which I would consider her a survivor probably, she leaked a FaceTime call, muted it because, obviously she did not want to put what their conversation was about. But let's just watch Russell Simmons lose it really quickly. Wait, is it not playing? Wait, why isn't it playing? Oh, there. Wait. Okay. Okay. Whoa! Wait, isn't this the guy who does yoga? Wait, I wanted to talk to the chat really quickly. Am I wrong about this? Isn't Russell Simmons supposed to be some type of like yoga, breathing, super whatever? Am I wrong about this? I love, who the fuck is Russell? Russell Simmons was huge. Russell Simmons was huge in the music industry. A huge exec. Very, very, very well known. Very, very famous. Like just a total entrepreneur. Very, very well known. 20 women have come forward and accused him of blank, 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 blank. Yes. Okay. I'm not wrong. Yeah. He's like a yogi. Hi, Mick. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mick. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Yeah. So Russell Simmons, here he is. He needs to do maybe a little bit more yoga, a little more breathing exercises. I'm just going to keep watching for a second, see where it goes. Holy. Oh, whoa. Okay. You know what? I'm moving on from this. He honestly, that was like a little bit of like an exorcism, where, Peyton, giving you another super chat because you're my favorite actress. Oh, thank you so much, Peyton. Now this is not Peyton Flynn. This is Peyton Snay. Now I'm getting the difference. Thank you so much, Peyton. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Yeah, funny that Russell Brand is a yoga bro too. Yoga bro. Shout out to all the alleged yoga bros out there. I'm going to start calling them alleged yoga bros. alleged yoga bro Russell Simmons, alleged yoga bro Russell Brand. God, he is honestly terrifying. Honestly terrifying. Okay, so moving on. Now, I know everybody was probably wondering, who the fuck is this, right? Who the fuck is this older dude? Never seen him before. Don't even know if I want to see him again. Also, like, who is just this old white man? And I think it's important to, make sure that this channel is not just about what's trending, right? This is not about just pop culture, even though we are speaking mostly on pop culture. I want to make sure that most survivor stories are getting told. And I feel like a lot of the time, unless it's someone like Russell Brand, blah, 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 those are the only ones that really get a lot of attention or a lot of support. And these ones, sometimes when they're CEOs, etc., unless it's Harvey Weinstein, they kind of just get buried under the rug. And so it's very important for us to know these survivors' stories, because I feel like they're triggering. Yes, they can be triggering. And though at the same time, they can be extremely inspiring. And I think every survivor who comes forward is an inspiration. And we all need a little bit of inspiration in our life, especially as survivors. And so this fucker, though, this old man, he was the CEO of the Grammys. That's right. CEO of the Grammys up until like 2018. A woman claims in a lawsuit that this is a horrible story, by the way. So trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. This is bad. They're all bad. This one in particular, it's bad. A woman claims in a lawsuit that she was SA'd by Portnow, who allegedly DRUGGED'd her, and that the Recording Academy, which is the Grammys, by the way, everyone, failed to investigate the incident. The executive denies the claims. Well, we're never shocked about that. It really should just say the executive said the same thing as all the other executives that have been accused of blank, 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 blank. Neil Portnow, former head of Grammy Awards, has been sued by a member of the Recording Academy who claimed he DRUGGED'd and R'd her in a New York hotel in 2018. The lawsuit filed in New York State Court Wednesday accuses Portnow of SA, which the Recording Academy aided and abetted to protect their reputations and silence plaintiff and other women in the music industry. Sound familiar? The case nods to Portnow stepping down as chief of the institution after his contract expired in 2019 amid self-inflicted scandals. So what's interesting is he stepped down, right, in 2019. And wasn't that just shortly after this accusation, etc., happened? What, do you think that's a coincidence? I don't honestly feel like that's a coincidence. This included him saying in 2018 in an interview following the 60th Grammy Awards in New York City that women needed to step up if they wanted to be better represented in the music industry. What did he say? In an interview following the 60th Grammy Awards in New York City, that women needed to step up if they wanted to be better represented in the music industry, and the termination of his successor, Deborah Dugan. The lawsuit alleges that Dugan was fired by the Recording Academy for refusing to bring Portnow back as a consultant after she was told about the alleged R. Wow. Okay, so here we go. So here is somebody, Deborah, where it alleges that Dugan was fired by the Recording Academy for refusing to bring the alleged predator back as a consultant after... I got to read this again. The lawsuit alleges that Dugan was fired by the Recording Academy for refusing to bring Portnow back as a consultant after she was told about the alleged R. See... This is the really important part that a lot of people don't understand. Unless, you're a survivor of an institution, etc. even the individuals that want to help you or want to see some type of accountability, they also lose their jobs. They also get fired. They also have to experience retaliation from the company, the corporation that is protecting the predator, and then from the predator himself, herself, themselves. And people don't realize this. They're like, so where were the bystanders? Or, why didn't someone help? Someone probably did try to help. And then they got fired. And they lost their job for, what is this? Oh, is this Kirsten or Kristen? I can't see. Is it Kristen? Kristen, welcome to Chef's Kiss. You're going to be part of the raffle. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for joining. And so, yeah, people don't realize this, that even the ones trying to help, they lose their job. They experience retaliation. And so is this a safe work environment? No, this is an environment that protects predators. And they'll only hire individuals that keep the predator safe, not the survivor, which is why one of also the main slogans of Eat Predators is protect survivors, not predators, because the problem is everywhere, most of the time, it's the opposite, where predators are getting protected and the survivors are getting punished. And not only are the survivors getting punished, but also anyone who tries to help the survivor. Yeah. So, okay, let's continue this. This is all way too familiar to me. I know this all too well. In a statement, a spokesperson for Portnow denied the allegations and said they are the product of the plaintiff's imagination and undoubtedly motivated by Mr. Portnow's refusal to comply with the plaintiff's outrageous demands for money. Oh, here it comes. Here it comes. Money. The survivor's just in it for the money. And assistance in obtaining a residence visa for her. Ooh, and then he's throwing in the fact that she is not from here. First of all, I'm pretty positive, bro, that this individual, if she wanted to get a visa, I'm not even saying this is real, but let's say she wants a visa in her life. I'm pretty sure there are other ways that this individual can go get a visa, as if you are the only hope for her. That's the thing with predators, like alleged predators and predators that I've personally experienced, myself. They're so egotistical. They're so narcissistic that they always say a comment that makes you feel that the survivor was gaining something from them, that something was crucial that the survivor needed from them, that makes it that they would come up with something like this to what? Gain it? First of all, they don't even gain it. Like they always make it, it's like a projection. They say that the survivor is retaliating when really most of the time survivors don't come forward because of the fear of the retaliation from the predator. And it's just total projection. Total projection. And, I experienced that from my predator. He literally said the same words, my imagination, at one point when I was asking him questions about experiences that I sadly had to endure. He said it was my imagination. And he said he didn't have time to deal with my imagination. So I've heard this term before. And, obviously these are accusations against this individual and it's alleged. But as a survivor, I can't help but draw from my own personal experience and reflect and feel it is all too familiar, just all too familiar. And it just paints this picture that the survivor is the predator. So all the things that maybe most likely the survivor endured, right? Just they flip it around. They just totally flip it around. And it's been happening since the beginning of time, honestly, especially with white privileged males specifically. And this guy looks like one of those, to be quite honest with you. So this is just my opinion, but here we go. So the Recording Academy said in a statement, "We continue to believe the claims to be without merit and intend to vigorously defend." And so we always hear vigorously defend. The thing is, it's very rare you get to sue an institution. And so I'm very curious to see how this case plays out, because usually the institution gets tossed out really in the beginning of the lawsuit. It's very hard to sue corporations. And so I'm very curious to see what ends up happening here. She must have some maybe evidence here of some type of something, because it's very hard to name a huge corporation as a defendant in a case like this. So I'm very curious to see how this plays out. While she isn't named in the complaint, the plaintiff is described as a professional musician who met Portnow in January 2018 in New York, where he was speaking on a panel at an event for the 60th Grammy Awards. The pair remained in touch, with their next meeting taking place in June, when she interviewed him in his room at the Kitano Hotel for a magazine story. Oh, this gets so bad. According to the complaint, trigger warning, according to the complaint, Portnow offered her wine, which she drank and immediately began to feel woozy and had trouble focusing her eyes. She proceeded to lose consciousness after trying to push away Portnow, who was attempting to kiss and massage her body. The lawsuit states, on separate occasions throughout the night, plaintiff regained consciousness momentarily each time plaintiff was in Portnow's hotel bed, each time Portnow was S.A.ing plaintiff. This is horrible. On one occasion, she awoke to Portnow forcing plaintiff's hand to blank blank his blank blank before he blank 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 blank. Oh my God. Again, survivors go into such great detail about what they had to endure, what happened to them. And usually, most of the time, the alleged predator comes back with some lawyer statement that once again feels not human, feels cold, it feels strategic, and honestly, it doesn't feel truthful. It's how I feel, in my opinion. And that's why I want to remind everyone, once again, when we're reading survivor stories, that we remember the bravery of going up against, these powerful individuals, to the point where she's not even saying her name, right? She's Jane Doe. And every time we hear Jane Doe, we must remember, or at least remind ourselves that the reason for Jane Doe's is the stigma around being a survivor. And it could be either her wanting to get another job in the future, or safety. There's many different reasons why someone wants to be a Jane Doe. But I really want allies out there to just know that Jane Doe says a lot about how much more work we have to do. How much more work we have to do to make sure that these individuals feel safe. Just safe. And that we don't shame people for coming forward about their trauma. And I'm not saying that every single time that somebody, is filing as a Jane Doe, it just automatically means we have a long way to go, because some people just don't want ever their name to be mentioned in personal situations, right? Which is totally understandable. And though at the same time, a lot of the time it's about retaliation, stigma, etc. And so I just want to remind everyone here, and I don't know, just send some silent love and support to all the Jane Does out there, because it's a lot. The lawsuit includes email correspondence between her and the Recording Academy. Okay, so she has conversations between her and the Grammys, which allegedly neglected to interview her about the alleged A, despite being informed. She alleges an investigation into Portnow's propensity for SA would have revealed the unsuitability of Portnow for continued employment. As a survivor of the music industry, I must say this is how it all goes down. This is how these alleged predators get protected by the institution. In December 2018, accuser says she filed a report with the New York City Police Department accusing Portnow of SAing her. Filed a report. Okay. The plaintiff says she continues. Oh, so there's a police report, you guys. So in December 2018, ding, 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 ding. I love to always say that when a survivor files a police report, she must be heard. Because especially around all the stigma around survivors that didn't get their report, which there's many reasons why a survivor doesn't make a police report, does not mean what they're saying isn't true whatsoever. And so though, when a survivor is making the police report like that, really pay attention to that. Really, really pay attention to that, because lawyers love to say the survivor is not telling the truth when they don't make their report. So it's like, what are the lawyers going to say back now? She made a police report. The plaintiff says she continued to suffer great pain of mind and body, severe and permanent emotional distress, physical manifestations of emotional distress, embarrassment, humiliation, physical, personal, and psychological injuries. She alleges SB against Portnow, as well as negligent hiring, supervision, and retention against the Recording Academy, among another claim for gender-motivated violence. All survivors know what she's saying all too well, sadly. After Portnow stepped down as the head of the Recording Academy less than a year later, Dugan was named as his replacement. She was then placed in administrative leave in January 2020, after which she filed a discrimination complaint against the organization with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. Dugan alleged she was fired for refusing to bring Portnow back as a consultant for the Grammys. In June 2021, the case settled. Retaliation. Retaliation. Didn't we just hear that from Drew Dixon? And now that's another thing that I want every ally out there and survivors in general to just, survivors don't even necessarily need to take note of this. Allies, survivors know. Allies out there, people that want to learn more. Listen to how each survivor story is different, right? And in great detail. But there is always this interesting, poignant, invisible almost string that connects them all. A pattern. Always a pattern. Either a pattern of the alleged predator or a pattern of our society, right? Of the institutions, of the criminal system, the justice system, etc. And we just heard these exact words from Drew Dixon. And then now we're hearing this other story where it sounds all too familiar, all too similar. And this is a reality for not only survivors, but it's also a reality of anyone who tries to step in and make a difference. They get punished. They get fired. There's retaliation against them. And this is why we really need to make a difference, because no one is safe in these environments. No one. Good people, people with good intentions, aren't safe in these environments. And predatory behavior does get protected. It gets financially rewarded, and a lot of people suffer because of it. A lot of people lose it all because of it. And then they wonder why survivors didn't come forward. Well, look, Well, look what happens when you do. And not only look what happens when you do, look what happens when you're somebody who's trying to do the right thing. A survivor has no protection. A survivor has no protection. No protection. No one has any protection. The only person who's being protected is the alleged predator. So Portnow said in a statement, okay, here he goes, in a statement issued after the filing of the 2020 complaint, the baseless, always complaint about my conduct referenced in the EEOC filing was immediately brought to the attention of the Board of Directors Executive Committee. First of all, McGee Predators. Went to my logo. First of all, I don't trust your board either. I love when they the police, saw no merits, whatever. I don't trust nobody as a survivor. I have seen that nobody is to be trusted. There is no one to trust as a survivor. Not the justice system, criminal, your coworkers, employees, you name it. None of them can be trustworthy sometimes, sadly. And I love that he's like, well, the board. Fuck the board. Like the board is actually, the board. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Attention to the Board of Directors Executive Committee. An in-depth independent investigation by experienced and highly regarded lawyers was conducted, and I was completely exonerated. Whatever, dude. Grammy nominations will be announced Friday, with the event taking place February 4th. So February 4th is the Grammys. I might personally set up a protest at the Grammys. So I will be planning that. Since now I've learned a little bit about the Grammys today and yesterday. And so I'll start to plan that. And so let's plan on going to the Grammys and protesting the music industry in general, because this is a story that gets told too many times. Way too many times. The institution, these record labels, etc., are complicit. Top to bottom, they are protecting alleged predators. They are punishing survivors, and they are also punishing individuals that try to do the right thing. And to me, that is almost like a criminal enterprise, right? Kind of sounds like a criminal enterprise. It kind of sounds like the Catholic Church. And they're not changing. Me Too movement has happened. And you know what? We're still here. We're still having to hear these stories. 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. And it goes on and on and on and on. We have someone like Timberland in 2023 saying that he wants a man to put a muzzle on her. Things are not changing, sadly. We got some movement for sure that we need to be grateful about, but there is still a long road ahead of us, and we need every ally on board. We need all hands on deck. And so let's plan on a E-Predators protest at the Grammys. I'm stoked. I've been wanting to go. Can you guys still hear me? I've been wanting to go to the Grammys just to kind of, I don't know, make a little fuss. So I'm honestly happy to organize a protest against the Grammys and also the music industry in general, as a survivor of the music industry. Christian, protest Grammys. Hell yeah, I'm so ready. I'm ready too. So Grammys, I can't wait to see you next year. And I'm hoping that a lot of allies and survivors come out. Oh, wait, we're moving on. Okay, so first and foremost, for all of the members of E-Predators, whoever would like to get a protest sign, who would like to be part of the giveaway, please put the mouth emoji in the comments. And then Miko's going to go, and then we're going to name the, let's see how many more we have left, actually. Hold on. I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we have 5 left, Miko, or 6 left. So Yeah. So please put the mouth emoji. We got some, obviously, wait, where is it? There's the mini one. But this was for Warner Music Edition. This was honestly an other experience, just like the one we're reading. NDA, CEO was getting promoted. The survivor got fired. And guess what, though, you guys? Guess what? After ePredators protested Warner Music Group the second time, he officially stepped down. He was like, I'm out of here in January. So these protests have done a lot of good. Sometimes it feels like, I don't know, I feel like a sloth a little bit. It feels like a sloth in general. But in moments like Warner Music Group, that was a huge wow. Look what a protest can do and how much safety it can honestly create for others. And so here's another one. We also have the women's hysteria sign that's from TMZ, which explains the sad history, the patriarchal lens of, what created the whole concept of women hysteria. So we have a lot here. So I think I see a lot of mouths. Miko, I don't know how many we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I feel like we have 8. So we'll figure out who the winner is. Lucifer, welcome to the Munchies. This is so much fun. I wanted to make this also today a little bit. It's just like, it's been such a obvious, very emotionally rough month for many reasons, obviously. And so just bringing in some joy of what activism honestly can do and the creative aspects that we can all add to a movement is just so important. Okay, so before I end this stream, I don't know if anyone heard about this, but who knows about Kiki Palmer? Kiki Palmer is a child star, super cool. Honestly, I think Kiki Palmer is awesome, and it's super sad to hear about what has just recently happened to her. And I'm appalled. I'm appalled by the images that I saw. I'm horrified. Christian, if you guys sold prints of these on your store, oh my God, Christian, I love it. That's actually a great way to make the channel even more sustainable. You're right, Christian. That's a really nice way of doing that. Does everyone agree? Should we be selling some of the prints on the ePredators website? Is that good? I love Kiki. Yeah, Anna, see me too. Do you hear what happened to Kiki Palmer? Peyton Flynn. I was just watching the video too. The mom's so badass. I love that she did that. Okay, wait. Let's go into Kiki Palmer really quickly because this is beyond disturbing. And Kiki's a mom like myself, and I was horrified reading this. Okay. And Josh, Alexa, I wish I could join you this Sunday, but our annual organ concert at church is happening at the same time, and I'm in the choir. Oh, no worries, Josh. I wish you were able to join. Thank you so much. Well, hopefully I see you next Sunday. Okay, so Kiki Palmer. So Kiki Palmer included shocking photos of her ex-boyfriend, Darius Jackson's alleged ABUSC in her case file, fighting for a DV restraining order. The Nope star, who is seeking sole physical and legal custody of their 8-month-old child, Leodis Leo, claimed in court documents that Jackson attacked her on November 5th after she explained she didn't want Leo going to a football game. Wow. At that point, he lunged at me, grabbing at my blank and blank, knocking me blank blank over the couch, stole my phone out of my hands, and then ran out of the house, state the documents obtained by Page 6. The photos attached to the file, which are screenshots from Palmer's security cameras, appear to show Jackson striking her so blank that she tumbles over her couch. This is fucking awful. Palmer, 30, further alleges that Jackson nearly blank her with his car when he tried to flee the scene. Oh, Nova is down here. Hi, Nova. I love you. Hold on, you guys. I got to see where my husband is because Nova just paid me a little visit. Hi, Nova. Hold on, sweetheart. Hold on. Here she comes. And I am back, everyone. Nova found her way downstairs. Nova's always wanting to come downstairs when I'm streaming, to be quite honest with you. And I obviously don't want her to be on YouTube. And so it is what it is. But we love Nova. Shout out to Nova. Love you, Nova. Mommy loves you. And I'll see you very, very soon. Because I think she's watching upstairs. She's like, Mommy's downstairs. I love her. Okay, so moving on. Here's a mom, Kiki Palmer. Look at these images here, you guys. Look. Okay, so here's, I guess, them having the confrontation here about taking their son to a frickin' football game. Look at, now she's on the floor. Let me zoom in here so we can see it a little better. Wow, look at this. This is her being dragged, I'm guessing, off of the couch. I mean, look at this. This is horrible. At that point, he lunged at me, grabbing my blank, knocked me backwards over the couch, stole my phone. So here's the image. Here's the image again. Here, the Nope star called the police after he tried to Ooh! Oh my God. And then my cat is here, everyone. This is ZG, by the way. This is what happens when I go too long. Whoa, ZG. Oh. This is my cat, ZG, everyone, by the way. This is ZG. This is one of my cats. I have two cats, by the way. This is ZG. She's about 2 years old now. She's a sweet, sweet kitty. ZG, you cannot be up here. How'd you get down here, too? See, this is what happens when I'm streaming for, too long. Everyone starts to miss me. Everyone misses Mama. Did you miss me? This is ZG, everyone. She's so pretty. Isn't she so pretty? Okay, ZG, you can't be up here, though. No, you can't. You hear meow, meow. ZG, we're talking about Kiki Palmer right now. You want to listen? You can listen. Just sit over there and you can listen. Isn't she so cute? She's so cute. Yeah, a palate cleanser for sure. Thanks, ZG. Okay, so, wow. Okay, so here she is on the couch. In the bedroom, he blanked me on the floor. Wait, I hate ads. Ads are the worst. In a separate incident from February 2022, Palmer claims Jackson, 29, became enraged when she showed him a photo of herself in a bikini to mark the progress of her fitness journey. So we all know this is an obvious, typical, alleged, you know what. In the bedroom, he slammed me on the floor. Blank. The next morning, he was standing at the bottom of the stairs near the front door, screaming at me as I was coming down the stairs, she states in the filing. Look at this image. Wow. This is terrifying. When I was almost at the bottom of the stairs, he grabbed me, blank, back onto the stairs. Palmer included more screenshots of the alleged altercation, which appeared to show a blank Jackson blanking her. He then appears to walk away from her as she struggles on the steps. When I was almost at the bottom of the stairs, here it is again. Look at her. This is horrible. She also expressed concern that Jackson would blank their baby. Wow, given Darius' uncontrolled violent outbursts in the past whenever he became jealous, I became seriously concerned he would HURT our son, even if it was just to HURT me, the actress claims, adding that Jackson would be holding their son while telling the baby that Palmer was a CUNT. Wow. Wow. Jackson and Palmer's former relationship has been married by controversy since July when she danced with Usher at his Las Vegas residency and Jackson publicly shamed her for the outfit she wore to the concert. "It's the outfit though, you a mom," he tweeted at the time, sparking an onslaught of backlash which didn't stop him from doubling down on his opinion, stating online that he has standards and morals. This guy? You have standards and morals? Standards and morals. Is that the title of those images? Standards. Really? And morals? I find it so interesting, right? That here's evidence of violent, well, violence, and yet he still thinks he's someone who has standards and morals. And this is the sad part about survivors of DV, survivors of SA, survivors of a, abusive institution, survivors of the system, survivors of police brutality, the list goes on and on and on. It's always the one who is the predator who loves to say to the world that he, she, they, or it has morals and standards and morals. It's really sad. It's really sad that they try to pretend to be that delusional, right? Because we all know they're not that delusional. They know exactly what they're doing. They know what they have done. And they're only saying that to not only gaslight the survivor, but they're also trying to gaslight the public. And you see, a predator, when you experience a predator, and let's say you're not someone who experienced the actual ABUSC, you're a bystander, or you're somebody who knows the individual. A lot of the time, these people will say, he, she, they weren't that mean to me. I can't imagine them doing something like that. This person was so kind, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, whatever it is, etc. People forget that a predator manipulates the bystanders, manipulates the public, so that the public, the people, are protecting the predator and not the survivor. And that's how they get away with these crimes for so long. They get away with these crimes because they are manipulating those around them to trust what they have to say about the scenario, about what happened. That's what they do. They're not friends to anybody. They're not in relationships with anybody. Every single person around them is another person to prey upon, another person to use for their own advantage. And that's why I tweeted a while ago telling people to not pray for the predators. And I didn't mean pray like this, not in a religious sense, but you got to remember prey, Prey. Predators, especially powerful ones, understand the power in getting others to do their praying, getting others to reinforce and perpetuate the abuse that they're inflicting on somebody. And they're really fucking good at it. They're really, really, really good at it. And sadly, the survivor gets to see who they really, truly are. Really, truly are. And everyone thinks, oh, they're just the only one who has survived. But really, honestly, everyone and anybody around the predator is technically also a survivor of manipulation. And it's something to remember, is just because you think somebody was nice to you, you had dinner with them, it might be a brother, it might be a sister, it might be a cousin, it might be a best friend of yours. Like, look at Ashton Kutcher and Danny Masterson, right? Just remember that if someone comes forward and tells you about something that someone did to them, they now are the one who knows that person the best. And they're telling you who they truly are, and your personal experience, your personal view of them is what's going to either help protect the predator or hold the predator accountable. And the predator knows that. The predator knows how important bystanders are. The predator knows. So that's why allies are so important, because they prey on everybody around them. And so, just a little bit reminder about the predators, just a little bit reminder about how they work, how they function, what they do. And I'm really sending so much support and love to Kiki Palmer, because I cannot imagine what that is like. That sounds absolutely horrific. She has a son with this person, and I just think we all need to send her a lot of love, a lot of support, and spread the awareness about this, because, I'm a survivor of SA. There's survivors of DV here, and we all deserve visibility. And so Kiki Palmer is really, honestly, now a really inspiring example of speaking her truth, seeking justice, wanting to protect her son, and coming forward to the entire world. I mean, that's extremely hard. That's extremely hard when a kid is involved. And so I'm just sending a lot of love and support to Kiki Palmer. And we must remember how we can be complicit in perpetuating the abuse of a predator. And it doesn't just start and end with the survivor, right? It doesn't. It honestly doesn't. The stream was really heavy, but it needs to be discussed. Thank you for doing what you do. So powerful. Thank you so much, Marissa. Thank you so, so much. I don't know if did Miko put who's won the protest signs? I know Jacob just arrived because, oh guys, I have good news. Okay. Shifting gears a little bit because my body is so tense. So I'm going to be adding to the Patreon is a newsletter. So ePredators is going to be creating a newsletter where for members, and we haven't figured out, so this is very flexible right now. I'm giving you just the bare bones of the concept. I'm in the midst of creating a mag, like a zine, for next year that is going to be survivor-centric narratives about the stories that we read all too regularly in the press. So from Kiki Palmer to Russell Brand. And as a survivor, I've just always been so disappointed by the way that they are reported and how easy it is for a lawyer, right, of a alleged predator to manipulate how the story gets told to the masses. And so ePredators is currently in the midst of creating a magazine called ePredators, where we are going to be a survivor-centric media outlet, I guess, press, journalism, to tell these stories in a way that also educates, that also educates the public from a perspective that's survivor centric. And so I'm really excited about this, but we're going to start it off with this newsletter. And so anyone who is a Patreon member, which I'm going to make a tier that I think it's even going to be like $2. I'm going to like make tiers for this. We're going to send out newsletters of current things that are happening in media, from Scientology to, again, I can't stop thinking about Russell Brand, Russell Brand. And we're going to send them out, and it's not going to be me who is writing all of them. I will write a few, but right now we have Jacob, and we might be having someone by the name of Jay writing. And so we're going to have different journalists writing these public stories in a way that make sure they're trauma informed, that they are coming through a survivor-centric lens. And not only just that, but that at the end, when you read these stories, I want to make sure that the average person out there, and a person that could be an aspiring ally, that they get educated. Because the more we just hear these stories, right? I have fear around it becoming just another story. And then another story, just like Me Too, Me Too, Me Too. And my goal is to get it to the point where when you read one of these stories, or when you hear from a survivor, your sister, your friend, whoever, that you are now being able to receive that information in a educated, within an educated and informed position. Right? In an active way, not just necessarily passive. And so that's in the works right now. I'm really excited about it. So we already have some stories. Scientology is going to be the first one that comes out. Jacob was there interviewing all of the survivors at the Scientology protest. And so he's written an incredible article. And so I'm thinking early next week, we're going to have the newsletter all put together. And for the Patreon members, at least at first, those are going to be the ones who are able to read the full. I haven't figured out the whole thing, so just like bear with me. This is like so early, but this is kind of the goal as of now. And then it will be a zine next year, and it will be a full-blown website, which I'm so excited about, where you'll be able to, as a survivor, instead of hearing about these things on Hollywood Reporter or hearing about these things at Rolling Stone, you'll be able to hear these stories on a survivor's platform, right? And with people who I'm hoping to get the staff, trauma informed, at least by the end of next year. These things cost a lot of money. And so it's one step at a time. But I want the staff to be trauma informed. I want at least the editor-in-chief, who will be me, which I will make sure that it is survivor-centric and that it helps and allows education, empathy, etc., instead of just being another fucking story, right, to all of these people out there. And so, yeah. And it will be like trigger warning, and you'll see exactly what's going to be in the article. So if you're like, you know what, I can't read this, you'll know right before the article begins. I have like all these really, I don't know. I'm excited about it. It's a dream of mine. I always wanted to see it. And being a survivor in this industry and just seeing how the media treated me, how stories ended up getting told when they had a lot more evidence, lawyers bullying, these publications, etc. So yeah, so I'm really excited about this. I think it's going to be really, really wonderful. This is just the first stages of it, so bear with me, but I did want to announce it to you guys today because I am super excited. And I'll figure out how to do it. Like maybe it's like Chef's Kiss and also Patreon. I don't know. As of now, until the zine hits, I have to figure out how to do this properly. But so that's the goal. This is the goal. And I don't know, Miko, did you choose? Oh, you're here. Okay, Miko, did you choose who the winners are? Wait, let me show everyone what we got here. By the way, check this one out. This one was for Live Nation, and it was about all the bots, right, that were buying up all of the tickets and exploiting all of the fans. And so I came up with this Rock'em Block'em Brobots. Do you guys remember these? It's like an old 80s ridiculous game with these robots. And so I put knock his bot off. And this was for Live Nation. This was one of our protest signs. So this is also going out to somebody. Okay. Oh, and Brewing Justice. And I have some other exciting news. So I'm adding a playlist, a channel, a show to ePredator's YouTube. It's going to be a morning show. I don't know when it's going to air. I don't know if it's going to, I think it's going to be probably once a week or once every other week, where I speak with somebody who's doing court watching. And I think court watching is super important, especially when it comes to survivor stories, because media outlets seem to only care about it when it first breaks, or when there's a conviction, or when someone settles, yada, 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 yada. And I wanted to add court watching to the channel in a way that all of us as allies and survivors can keep an eye on these court cases that are currently happening against these alleged predators. And so we're going to have people looking into. Melanie will be part of Brewing Justice. I like Brewing Justice because we're going to be drinking coffee, and I always feel like when you're going through litigation, you feel like you're in this space of justice brewing. So we're going to call it Brewing Justice, and Melanie's going to be handling all of the Britney Spears court filings. So I'll be speaking with her through StreamYard, and we'll be discussing, and she's going to explain to me what's currently going on. I'm going to have Jacob maybe be going to the Scientology hearings when it comes to Bixler and Jane Doe. Is it Jane Doe 1? Jane Doe 1? So yeah, we're going to be adding court watching to YouTube, and I'm really, really looking forward to that. So between the reporting with the zine, with the newsletter, and court watching, I feel like now survivors are really taking their power back collectively, and we're watching out for other survivors. And, you know, I think that's what it's all about. It's what it in court. Yeah, court watching is such a great activism. It's just so important. And I feel like this channel will be a great way to boost that activism. And then also, you know, whatever we end up finding in these court hearings, as we keep an eye on Russell Brand, you know, Scientology, all these different cases, etc., then we can also pull it into the zine and start accumulating a way to help the public understand these cases from a survivor's POV, survivor centric. Just think it's so fucking important. And we love Melanie, right? Melanie is the best. So Melanie teaches me so much stuff. Melanie is amazing. Melanie is truly so fucking awesome. I love Melanie. Shout out to Melanie. So yeah, Brewing Justice, gonna be new. I think we'll start it the second week of December. I'm moving my studio, everyone, before I wrap it up. I'm moving my studio. This is probably my last stream, or Sunday will be my last stream here. I'm moving outside of the house, and so it's going to be a crazy, crazy weekend. And so I do want to announce that in December, I will be doing a Eat Predators award ceremony. For shits and giggles, just something fun to pop off before we go into the new year. I'm going to be giving out fake awards, of course. This is a fucking joke. But who is the alleged predator of the year? Who is the alleged dad of the year? Who is the alleged lawyer of the year? Like worst lawyer. We're going to, you know, have everyone make their votes. Everyone can obviously make a decision. And I just think it would be a better way than just going through all of the predator stories at the end of the year. I think let's just, I don't know, have a laugh at how, you know, honestly, you know, just fucking like Brian Friedman. Sorry. Brian Friedman is the first person that comes to my mind. But I just feel like dragging them through a patriarchal award ceremony that they don't get any awards for. I don't even know how exactly we're going to do it, but I think it would be some kind of way to kick off the new year, say goodbye to last year, say goodbye to those predators, but make sure that they know that we are going to be keeping an eye on them with the court watching. And I'm just really excited about the things that can really happen with e-predators starting next year. I'm really, really looking forward to it, and honestly could not do it, obviously, without you guys. And I wanted to say thank you one more time, 1,000 times over. Thank you for being here. Please remember to like, to share, to boost. And I think Miko is going to keep this chat and realize who... Miko, did Miko already say who won? Or we're going to have to do it in next episode and just say who the winners were. I think that's what we're going to have to do. I think Miko's talking to Jacob upstairs but I do want to say this is another one too, just before we sign off. This was the one for Live Nation too. This is one of our old symbols, by the way. It's like so crazy looking through these and seeing just the past. But this was at Live Nation. Here's the mouth eating one of the executives. And I think it's a great way to sign off today because we talked a lot about the executives within these industries. And that was actually one of the first protests for e-predators. And so you guys are the best. Sorry for keeping you guys a little bit later today, but I appreciate you all being here. Jessica, can we schedule a time to talk? Yeah, Jessica. Can you please email me? By the way, if anyone needs to email something to me or get into contact with me, eatpredators@gmail.com. Please email me, get into contact with me there, and I can contact you back. So please email. And Mika will be making the decision who won the rest of them. And thank you to the new members. Thank you to everyone. And have a good night. I'll see you Sunday for the Britney Spears book club for Chef's Kiss. You guys are the best, honestly. Thank you, guys.